Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda, and in this video we're having a quick look at telepathy. So telepathy, as we know, is when we are consciously choosing to focus on intention for somebody else to pick up. Now, when we are understanding telepathy, we understand that we are basically all one consciousness, and we are experiencing ourselves through other people and perceptions that we have of other people in the world. So telepathy is real in this sense that we are the one that is consciously creating everything in our reality. And even when we think about manifesting, you could think of it as a telepathy kind of concept, because everyone and everything is conforming to the way that you are intending in your mind. So we use telepathy in a way that we are talking about whatever it is that we are consciously intending. So we have a focused thought that is going out there. Now, when this has happened in my reality, I usually wouldn't have, maybe all day, every day, continuing to focus on the one kind of intention for telepathy to show up in my reality. Telepathy is showing up in my reality in a way that was more easy and effortless, if I'm being honest, because it usually will show up in a way that I have an idea that I want to manifest something into my reality, and even if I'm not continuing to affirm on it, it ends up manifesting in a way that may seem to me more easy and effortless, and may seem to me even quicker than actually just sitting down for a period of time throughout the day and consciously focusing my attention on it. So an example of this was, I had recently got the idea that I wanted to see about white sage and what it was about, and burning white sage in my home just for cleansing any energies and things like that. So it's not something I had done before. It was a first notion in my head, and so I got the notion that I wanted to go out and buy the white sage. Now, I had been thinking about this thought over and over in a way that, the way when we are actually wanting to go and do something and maybe the day goes by and we don't actually get a chance to do it. So again, we're thinking, oh, I must go and do that. I must go and buy that, and I must go and try that out. So this is kind of the way it went for me over a period of a couple of weeks. And then it was my birthday there about a week ago, and it turns out that I actually received white sage as a birthday present. Now, for this example of telepathy, it means that the person who actually was my sister, so she would be pretty close to me, and maybe when it comes to the people that we are close to, they pick up on our thoughts quicker than maybe, a stranger or somebody that we are just in contact with, or a colleague. And she obviously would have picked up the thought without me obviously having to think about it, because it's the first time ever that I've ever received something like that as a present, and it just so happened to be something that I was actually intending myself to go out and buy. And she would have picked up that thought, as I say, from me actually continuing to think of that. Now, I want to talk about another form as well too, of actually consciously sitting down and affirming for telepathy. So I have done this as well too, and usually this has been done by listening, by being in a conversation and hearing something from the other person, and then telling me something, and before I actually accept what they are saying as true, I will reaffirm what it is that I would rather hear from them in that moment. So when we hear things that we feel like we don't want to accept as true, the more advanced that we are on our self-concept journey, the less we will be triggered, and the more we become aware of what they are saying in the moment, and we know that we can change the perception of it, because we are not feeling triggered in the moment, but there is a part of it that we would rather hear something else. And so we know that we are the solution to that, because we are the ones that are using our thoughts to recreate what it is that we want to hear. And so in those moments, rather than getting triggered, we can stop and pause for a minute and ask ourselves what we would rather hear. I have done this myself, and that's why I know that it works. I've done this myself a couple of times, at times when I knew that I wasn't triggered, where I was aware of what was going on, what was being said, and I was able to turn it around. And so what I actually did was I would hear that person tell me exactly what it was that I wanted to hear, and that would change it. They would actually come back and say what I wanted to hear. Usually it would be in a phone conversation or whatever, and I would maybe end, whatever the call would end, I would say, you know what, I think I would rather hear it being said like this, so the next time I am talking to them, they will say this to me. And that is actually exactly how it would be. Now, I don't know if there's any advancement or anything when it comes to telepathy, because we are all connected. What I do want to say is, obviously our thoughts are a big thing when it comes to it. And when we are wanting to actually recreate a different thing, I know that when we are triggered, it can be harder to do this in the moment. And when we are triggered, we are forcing it in a way that is maybe not feeling good, and maybe we are not getting that kind of brain and heart coherent way of actually putting it out there to hear exactly what it is that we want to hear. This does not stop it. I just want to say as well too, it just means that it might take a little more of a delay for it to actually show up in your reality. So what I mean by this is that it doesn't mean that we have to be in a high vibe or anything like that to actually create this result. However, I do want to say that I, from my own experience, believe that these things actually unfold for me in an easy and effortless way because of brain and heart coherence. Now, I talked about brain and heart coherence in my last video, and brain and heart coherence is not actually meaning that we have to be in a high vibe or actually feel this thing happening right now. Brain and heart coherence is simply just coming into the moment, into the present moment, and relaxing our energy into the heart in a way that we are focusing all our energy into our heart, and we're bringing ourselves into this present moment in a relaxed way of being. So when we look at continuing to reaffirm something in our reality, when we are focused in such a way, we are actually connecting the brain and heart in those moments. Let's say, for example, if we sit down and we actually just meditate. When I say meditate on our affirmations, I mean to sit down for about 10 minutes or whatever and continue to say the one affirmation over and over and over again. That in itself brings you into a brain and heart coherent way, because the brain and heart is relaxed in the moment and they are connecting in a way that they are agreeing on exactly what we are saying. So when it comes to telepathy, from my own experience, that I know that people probably create it in whatever way that they are, but I'm talking from my own experience here. I kind of feel that when things actually happen quick and easy for me, it is because I am in that state of that way of being. I'm in that kind of coherent way of being. And because I am in that coherent way of being, it is picked up by the people then around me, and they then demonstrate it back to me into my reality. So when I understand that, for example, when my sister had bought that white sage for me, I wasn't sitting down and affirming that I would manifest the white sage into my reality. I was simply just coming with the idea over and over again, and not in a robotic way, but in a way that was actually saying, I must go and try this out. I must go and buy some. I must go to that shop and buy some. I must look up. So it was in my mind for a period of time. And then obviously, because I wasn't really too focused on it in a way that was causing me to maybe, I don't know, be distressed or whatever, I was still just living my life and doing my bits and keeping myself regulated and things like that. Obviously then when my birthday came along, then I received it as a gift because someone close to me got the download, because we're all connected in this universe. They got the download, and then obviously they bought that for me then, and I manifested it into my life without having to say it to anyone or even buy it as well too. So I just thought I would bring that kind of idea up about the telepathy. It's all about our thoughts. But when we are creating things in our life in a way that is coming from an awareness, from a conscious awareness, we do want to understand that the conscious awareness is really just coming into the coherence of the brain and heart. And the brain and heart comes into coherence when there is a full kind of relaxation and tension around the area of the heart. And even I know myself, when I have this intention in meditation, there's a feeling of like a pulsating feeling, and anyone who meditates will know this as well too. There's a pulsing feeling that you can feel. It's like a Wi-Fi feeling going out into the universe, like the signal that you are sending out. And for me, even when I'm not focused on an intention, I believe that when I am self-regulated in this way, I'm living my life and I'm having these kind of sporadic intentions in my mind that I am intending to do and intending to experience, and then they unfold for me in ways that I wouldn't even be thinking about. So for example, I never would have thought for once that anyone was going to show up buying me white sage, because it's something that you wouldn't be thinking anyone would be showing up to buy for, well, in my reality anyway. And so when I actually received it, it was actually, in a way, you just, when you're more kind of conscious of all the manifesting and that, it becomes more normal for you, so it's not a surprise anymore. But you just get excited and you're like, oh my god, I was just thinking about this and then you bought this for me, and thank you so much. So I just wanted to bring up that topic, and if you have any questions about it, you can comment down below and I will chat to you soon.